anyway, he slowly did his archaeology thing, right? And he dug up what he thought to be a dinosaur fossil. And he, of course, dug it up, secured it safely in his vehicle, and he brought the artifact back to show his group of scientists and paleontological friends, right?
And meanwhile, his wife was back at the lodge like, you're always working. You're supposed to be on vacation, and here you are working again.
I can't help it. It found me.
That's why I walked out.
Yes.
I needed a breather.
So anyway, he took it back and he showed his friends, right?
Hey, it's Alan Tudyk. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast. They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this show. We present and preserve the backstory of Dinoland U.S.A. And look, this isn't your typical polish, practice, pixie dust, and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in Disney California Adventure every day capturing the final ride of the red car trolley through its streets.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and bring you a show that's dynamite.
Yeah. And you listeners have the easy part. All you guys have to do is to listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm JJ.
I'm James Evans.
I'm Danny.
Easy. Oh, wait, that's the wrong show.
Wrong show.
I'm Rachel. Guys, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I want to know what your Super Bowl Sunday snacks are.
Snacks.
Snacks.
Let's see.
Drinks.
Beer. Whiskey.
What are we getting?
I don't know. We were gonna do because Carl's coming in.
Yeah.
So we were going to see what Carl wanted to do because Carl's coming in from Texas. Normally, if this was a normal Super Bowl kind of thing, mini muffaladas. That is standard.
There you go.
Wings
usually
would be standard.
that, yeah.
Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And
hot dogs?
Cajun crawtators for
Oh.
sure.
That's true.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's
Oh my
true.
gosh, those sound so great.
Yes. You never had those?
The Zaps?
No.
Oh, those are
we're sending you
good.
some.
Yeah, I'm about to
They're
say
like
we gotta
spicy
send
We
you
got to
some.
send you we're sending you a
Yeah.
care package.
Oh, speaking of stuff, did you try the king cakes that you got?
So that's I'll send you a picture, but that is the dessert for our Super Bowl themed day of eating.
Oh, did you zhuzh it up? Did you decorate
We did,
it?
yeah. I decorated it. Yeah, it's ready to go.
Decorated the king cake.
I did. Yeah.
Ah,
So
okay.
no,
All right.
we're doing Kansas City ribs, and then we have a Philly cheesesteak pizza. that
Oh
we
my
made.
Damn.
nice.
So we've got the two different teams represented that way, and then we have a crab dip for the Commanders and a buffalo chicken dip for the Bills for the dips that didn't make it to the.
The dips that did.
Oh, that's right up there with the Zip Award and the Gold
Now
Boot.
she's thinking on that
Wow.
guy.
Oh.
This is
And then
why
just-
she is the best Disney travel agent.
Oh, wow.
Even her own parties are themed.
Yeah.
And then we have the king cake to celebrate New Orleans for dessert.
There you
Oh,
go.
for hosting the Super
Oh,
Bowl.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
I
Yeah.
like that. All right. Got you.
I dig it.
Yeah.
So
y'all hadn't tried it yet.
Not yet. No, I'm excited. I'll send you a message tonight after we do, but I'm
Okay.
excited.
So like depending. All right. So who needs to win over there in the Robange house?
Keep everything copacetic in the household.
Like, how's it? Because our little guy is in that.
I know. Yeah. Sam is so excited for the Eagles. My daughter is a Kansas City fan.
Oh wow.
Josh and I are both rooting for the Eagles, though.
Okay.
So the three of us are voting Eagles, and we got one Kansas City fan.
I thought you were a Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
am a
was going.
Taylor Swift fan, but
So you want her to be heartbroken?
I don't know. They got it last year. Like, I don't need them to have it again. There's also in fairness, the New England thing is in play here. A lot of people in New England don't want to see them win tonight because they feel like that will be a storyline that kind of trumps the Patriots.
Ah.
You know, like right now the Patriots have that like greatest of all time kind of thing, and people in New England don't want to see that overridden.
It's never been a three-peat.
That's right. Yeah. So if Kansas City does it, then I think people in New England will be a little salty.
I don't have a dog in the fight.
Me either.
Go Saints. Go Saints.
Sorry, that was a lot of jibber jabber for a show where we weren't going to have to.
Exactly.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. But good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I root for the kids. The kids are happy either way.
I got my
awesome.
poll, my Super Bowl squares. So thank you, Rachel.
Yes,
so
yes.
Keep track of
Oh
that.
shoot! They gotta look at that.
Yeah, and
right?
I gotta remember to bring.
You gotta
it.
see where we
Yeah.
at with that.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
whip it out. So
you gonna keep us posted on that? Because I need some.
I
money.
will.
I'm 9-9, so I'm hoping for a lot of field goals.
I need some money for vacation, Rach. I gotta look at that. Thank you.
I need
Yeah.
at least a safety. I got a
look at
2.
that. I gotta see where I'm at.
So
on this.
yeah. All right, y'all. Look. So enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go preserve the backstory of Dinoland USA. Welcome to the Hub, the big topic segment of our show. And as I mentioned in the intro, we would like to present and even do our part to preserve the backstory of Dinoland USA and Disney's Animal Kingdom. If you travel or have traveled to Walt Disney World in early 2025 and visit Rachel's favorite park and Kirk's least favorite park, and make your way right towards the dinosaur attraction, you'll see an area of the park cordoned off by those construction walls. Now, for those who were around when Epcot had these, this is reminiscent of the days when much of Future World and Epcot was surrounded by those construction walls. Y'all remember that?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. However, I'm glad to say that in this case, it doesn't look like it's less of a burden than the Epcot ones were. So it's not as just like, it's there, but it's not like going to inconvenience your traffic through the area.
Right. It's not directly in between where you're walking.
Exactly, yeah. So this is a little bit more bearable. But nonetheless, they're there. But that is because Disney closed the first chunk of this area, Dinoland USA, on January 13th, 2025, in preparation for its retheme to Tropical Americas, the Encanto Place area thing, whatever.
That place where they got
Yeah.
the
Canto
movie.
Place area.
Yeah,
You know,
that, yeah.
When the house
exactly.
talk to you and people dance. That place.
Encanto Jones.
Is that his cousin?
Yes, it's Encanto Jones.
Yeah.
That's what the area is
That
known.
married into the
as,
family. I
and
like
that's
it.
why
I
you
like
got
it.
the Madrigal family and Indiana
And
Jones.
Indy,
Yeah.
yeah, I see that. It
Mhm.
was that. It was like from the first movie when he was in the.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It was,
impregnated,
yeah, he impregnated a Peruvian woman.
Oh.
That happens.
I think it's Columbia.
Oops.
Oh, Colombia.
Colombian woman.
Well, she lived in Peru, and then moved to Colombia. So, anyway, look, the chunk of area I'm talking about that's surrounded by walls was once known as Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama. And it's an area populated by a Dumbo-like spinner attraction, a Wild Miles coaster, a kid's playground, and a midway-type games for an additional price, of course. And over the years, this area was both hated and loved by Disney fans. Hated
Cool.
because of its cheap look and overall stark contrast to the park, go figure. And loved because of its quirkiness, colorfulness, and appeal to little kids, and the detail.
I don't know one person that loved Chester and Hester. Who are these people?
That's what I was gonna say.
Stand up and be
Yes.
recognized.
As
Yes.
long as I've done this show, that place has always been dogged out.
It's been, yeah, the only part, I mean, to be fair, the only part I really like was that whole Countdown Extinction area, or the Dino Institute area.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite rides, right?
Right.
And Dinoland, I'm just like, whatever. So I was of course, I was on the list of hated because of the cheap look.
Yeah.
But I guess in a way, the backstory makes me kind of appreciate. I still don't like it, but it makes me kind of appreciate it more because it's an area that's freaking loaded with detail. It's nuts.
Well, if it was only like 30% of Dinoland USA, probably you wouldn't get as much hatred. But seeing that it's probably what,
A majority, yeah,
60, 65% of Dinoland?
At least.
Going for yeah.
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 Mm.
No, yeah. But look, like I said, it was loaded down with detail, but there is a reason for this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to frame this backstory to help you understand why this backstory even exists. You know, Dinoland USA was around when Animal Kingdom first opened. Do y'all remember when it opened?
1998?
1998 on Earth Day, April 22nd. Yes, April 22nd, Earth Day. Yep, this was the Walt Disney Company of the 90s under the command of Michael Eisner back when story was still incredibly important.
All right, don't you need angels singing when you say the name Michael Eisner? There you go.
And the story was most definitely important to this particular now Imagineer, now Disney legend.
And then in the year of 1998, he decided there shall be an Animal Kingdom.
And another prophet came to design this land of Animal Kingdom. What is this Imagineer? Who am I talking about that designed Animal Kingdom?
Joe
Rohde.
Joe Rohde.
Yeah.
And of course, we know with Joe Rohde that backstory is super, super important. He was probably maybe one of the last Imagineers that we know of name that was big into that.
Celebrity Imagineer.
Yes,
Yes.
Exact. Thank you. A celebrity Imagineer. And Danny, you know, we've covered backstories like this, like Typhoon Lagoon, Pleasure
Sure.
Island, and many more. And Dinoland U.S.A.'s story was hidden in plain sight and is no exception to this rule of backstories back then. And so
Yeah.
for this hub, we continue the Magic Our Way tradition of presenting and preserving backstories because it's gone now, right? It's gone.
It's extinct.
It's yes, it went the way of the dino. As
The way of
we
the
would say, yes. So
You mean to Universal Studios?
I was like, ouch.
So anyway, look, we're going to preserve this backstory by telling the story of how Dinoland U.S.A. area came to be in terms of the story. But to do this, we have to go back, not to the time of the dinosaurs, but like the 1940s. Okay. Now, this is when the area where Animal Kingdom currently exists was just a humble yet popular fishing spot. I don't know if y'all know this.
So this is a fictional 40s.
This is
not the real 40s.
Correct. Yes. So we present this. Well, I will present the story chronologically, and there'll
Okay.
be some sidebars to provide some additional context.
Okay.
And this is the. I just wanted to clarify for listeners. This is the backstory, the creative backstory of Dinoland U.S.A.
Mhm.
Not like the fictional story, like you were saying.
Yes.
Not the real story, which we'll cover later once they close Dinosaur the Attraction.
Right.
Because there's a whole design history to that, the different parts, the phases that it went through. But we want to talk about the actual backstory that was hidden in plain sight. That was the glue that held the entire land
The
together.
blueprint.
Yes, the blueprint. Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So this is the overall arching backstory of what was going on.
Okay.
So here we go.
Can I ask Rachel if she knows this?
The backstory?
Yes.
I don't know the
Oh.
backstory of Dinoland. No.
What is your personal opinion of Dinoland?
I'm not sad to see it go. The only thing I'm sad to see go is the Boneyard. I really love that.
That
but
is-
it's still operating right now. So
Oh, is it?
I didn't know that.
Oh, I thought that was
so,
closed
yeah.
off too. But no, that's great because
That's good news.
well, now I'm
that's
gonna
a great
double check.
space.
Yeah, I do love the Boneyard. Aesthetically, it's pleasing to look at.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. So here's the backstory. You guys ready?
Yeah.
So the story begins back in the 1940s in Diggs County, right alongside the Discovery River, of course, which is where the park is.
Sure.
Okay.
The country at the time was expanding the United States highway system and built U.S. Highway 498, right? You've probably seen signs for that in the yard.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so real quick sidebar, because this is important, and this is an important detail to know. This is not to be confused with the U.S. interstate system, which came online in 1956, which is why the Route 498 signs look more like Route 66 signs instead of what people may think of like interstate stuff, because the interstate didn't even exist.
Right. Yeah.
So that's an interesting detail that they based this story in the 40s before the interstate system came online. So if you want to tie it into some kind of story, you could say that Interstate 4 integrated parts of 498, much like Route 66 was integrated by interstates like 55, 44, 40, and 15. I looked this up. It was just out of curiosity. Because it makes sense to me, right?
Okay.
It's like, why is there a portion of 498 in this park and there's nowhere else? Well, I was like, well, maybe it got absorbed by I-4.
I really want to start driving all of a sudden. I don't know.
You want to hit that 498?
Yeah, get all the 498.
Well, 498, April 1998, that's when the park opened.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why 498.
Clever numbering system. All right, so back to the story. That was my first little sidebar.
Beautiful.
So look, in those days, people traveled the highways for fun and vacation. And as we learned from the old World of Motion attraction at Epcot, the journey was just as important as the destination. And apparently, the Discovery River, which runs through the park, was a sportsman's paradise. I don't know if y'all know that. But Highway 498 brought many anglers to fish its waters. And at some point, and it's not stated exactly, I tried looking for this, but a fishing lodge was built in the area for the anglers to rest and recuperate between their days of fishing.
Wow.
That's the fishing. That's restaurant source, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And as was the case back then, budding entrepreneurs took advantage of the U.S. highway system, and development began. Chester and Hester were two such entrepreneurs. Now, one sec for real, did you know this? Does anyone know their last name, Chester and Hester?
Lester.
Chester and Hester Lester.
That's their cousin. Yeah.
on the
On
father's
the
side.
father's
Yeah,
side.
yeah, twice
Oh,
removed.
man.
Twice removed, yeah.
That'd be a good name, though.
MacArthur. I don't know.
MacArthur.
But you know what? That's kind of more regal. I like that.
It is. It's nice.
MacArthur.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, any guesses? You probably, I don't know.
I know. I don't know. I did look into the boneyard, though. It is still open.
It is still open.
I know made me second guess it. I was like, oh no. I just sent somebody there last week. I was like, you got to check out the boneyard. it's good to go still.
Well, that's good.
That would be funny if she sent him over there and the kids playing with the tractor.
A little nervous there.
Where'd it go, Mama?
Well, I'm glad to know it's still open because I like that area. That's a cool area.
Play with the track. Get out of this place, kid. We're about to blow this place up. What do you mean? It's safe. Yeah.
All right, so back to the last name. Chester and Hester, their last name, according to Disney,
Yes.
is Diggs.
What?
Which is kind of funny because
that makes sense.
it's Diggs County, so I wonder if like the family had something to do with the county and stuff or whatever else. But it's hardly ever mentioned, right?
Okay.
But according to a video put out by Walt Disney Parks and Resorts Merchandise Division at the time, I don't know what they are now, but they are Chester and Hester Diggs. And if you'll indulge me, let's meet them real quick as I play this little clip from their video that they put out.
Okay.
And Danny, you might recognize one of his actors, I believe. So here we go. This I show a little something, and the listeners will see this. And if you look at our YouTube channel, you get to see this video. But this is something I captured off of one of the DVDs I have of Animal Kingdom.
Oh, nice.
What do you call it when two dinosaurs run into each other? A Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's a wreck. Hey everybody, we're about to enter Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama, a wacky and wonderful fun fair. I wonder how it got its name.
Just put the things over here and put some of your macrame up there.
Oh, honey, I love your idea.
Oh, honey, they're here. Oh, hi, everybody.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
My name is Chester Diggs.
Hi, people.
We have built this wacky roadside carnival full of Cretaceous fun.
We're Dino-Maniacs. Now, don't let him fool you. He is the mastermind behind all that you see here. And Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama. He's the cream of my coffee. The ketchup in my cottage cheese.
And the sweet box.
The mystery meat in my corn dog.
We don't know what it is.
Chester Diggs, I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
There is so much to do here at Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama.
We've opened all kinds of things. We got a brand new roller coaster called Primeval Whirl.
Oh, it's a which world? Primeval world. Don't tell me.
Primeval Whirl.
Yep. So this is a video from 2004 that they had sold in the stores, and I left this title thing in there just to show that the Parks and Resorts merchandise gave them the last name.
Wait,
Diggs.
did you edit some of that?
I did edit it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have the video because this is like a video that my kid used to watch a lot on trips, and so I
Okay.
cut out the Chester and Hester part, and then I just added the end thing just to cite my sources.
Oh no. Okay. So wait, that was all of that they had to say about. That was
Last
all the
name.
Chester. That was all that
Yep.
they had. Okay, because I was like, well, damn, that's the quickest promo I ever saw.
No.
Okay.
Both
but-
of those actors
You recognize them, right?
Yes, they're
yeah.
definitely from the Adventurers Club. Both of them, I believe, were in the Adventurers Club. The guy for sure, but the guy you probably know most from, if you've ever ridden the Magical Express,
Yes,
he's Gus.
he's Gus.
Your friendly bus driver on the Magical Express.
Oh.
That was him. He's played a lot of different parts over the years.
Actually, he was the first Guano Joe I saw.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, the one day I recognized him. I was like, wait, that's Guano Joe. When I did the cruise for my honeymoon, I saw him on the Magical Express. I'm like, that's freaking Guano Joe. Like, wait a minute. He's been everywhere in Disney. Yeah.
Nice.
So I figure you'd recognize that guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. He's been all over the place.
Okay.
But yeah, so Diggs, Chester and Hester Diggs, that's their name. And in Diggs County, and just so happens Chester was working as an officer of the law in Diggs County. Yeah. And of course, anticipating the influx of travelers and motorists thanks to the new Highway 498, he and his wife bought some land next to the highway near the fishing lodge and opened up a gas station that served Sinclair gasoline. Y'all familiar with Sinclair gasoline?
Dinosaurs.
It's
Yes.
ringing a bell.
That's
Yeah.
from the TV show Dinosaurs. Sinclair, right? That's a family.
Oh,
That was an
fun.
homage to that. But Sinclair is a real oil company that
Oh,
still
is
sells
it?
gas. Yeah. And for listeners local to us in and around New Orleans area, the closest stations that serve Sinclair gas is up in Shreveport, North Louisiana. So
Well, I will be getting that no time soon.
yeah. But what's funny about Sinclair is that does anybody know? And you kind of gave the answer a little bit, but what's on the Sinclair gasoline signs that makes it so interesting to this particular area and why they would have sold Sinclair gasoline.
Dinosaur fossils.
Close.
Isn't it like a not a brontosaurus? It's the long neck dinosaur.
Yeah. Brontosaurus. They never really specify, but it's the long neck dinosaur for sure.
Yeah.
But of course, Sinclair got parodied with like Dinoco gas, which is the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that this is kind of prophetic because that they chose this brand to serve at their gas station because, well, I'm gonna tell you why. This is why. So we're back to the store, right? That's my little sidebar on Sinclair. But the gas station not only served gas to fuel the cars, but they also had a general store to help replenish the travelers' stock of road snacks.
Ah,
right there,
like
you go.
a Buc-ee's.
It's like a Buc-ee, exact, but smaller because we're still in this small town USA, right?
Right.
Kind of like a Stuckey's, maybe for those that are around, grew up with Stuckey's. But for the time being, when they opened, things were good. Things were quiet. People fished, slept, bought gas, bait, tackles, sinned, whatever.
Wow.
I don't know what happens in small town
Man,
places
they
like
could
that.
have named that store Dig This. That
would have been awesome.
solved it all.
That would have been just as
Man.
prophetic, I think.
Did it everything.
You know why it would have been prophetic?
Why is that?
Because in 1947, things began to change the course of history for Diggs County.
Boom.
One day, a novice archaeologist, and there's no name, I can't find the name, and I don't think he's ever named, but he was passing through Diggs County, and he spent a night in a lodge. Archaeologist spent the night in a lodge, fishing lodge. And why not? As one usually does after a trip, he ventured outside for a stroll around the lodge. And the sources don't specify, but I have to imagine, after a long road trip, maybe he went out for a smoke, have a drink, take in some fresh air, entertain a lot lizard. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what they do back in then. But as he was walking around, he stumbled across what looked to be a dinosaur fossil. He might have kicked it up while he was, kind of shuffling around, whatever. Anyway, he slowly did his archaeology thing, right? And he dug up what he thought to be a dinosaur fossil. And he, of course, dug it up, secured it safely in his vehicle, and he brought the artifact back to show his group of scientists and paleontological friends, right?
And meanwhile, his wife was back at the lodge like, "You're always working. Why? You're supposed to be on vacation, and here you are working again."
I can't help it. It found me.
That's why I walked out.
Yes.
I needed a breather.
So anyway, he took it back and he showed these friends, right? And one of his friends happens to be Dr. Bernard Dunn.
Now, that's cool that we know who all the other people are, but not the guy that
Yeah,
found it. That's
that's
not
not
your fault. I'm just wondering who took this man's credit.
I know, maybe I need to dig a little deeper, like
I'm just
Tiana,
saying.
and hopefully find his name.
His
'cause,
name
yeah.
is Dr. Blank. I just want to give him that respect.
But, anyway, all of his friends confirmed that it was indeed a dinosaur fossil.
Okay.
And quick little sidebar, if you had a chance to look around Dinoland USA at the message boards, and this is funny because the archaeologist is not mentioned, but Dr. Bernard Dunn's name is everywhere in that land, or was everywhere in that land.
I think he knocked out the original doctor, buried him.
It's my discovery.
It's my discovery.
Oh, wow.
Buried him in with the
That's it.
fossils.
I'm just saying. I watch a lot of true crime.
That's dark.
Just went. Sorry.
One of the fossils in Boneyard. I don't know.
Yeah, possible. Yeah. You'll never know his name.
Okay. Anyway, back to the story.
Yes.
Certainly, there would be more prehistoric finds in this area, as you know. And all those people, the novice archaeologists, all his paleontological friends, and Dr. Dunn united to purchase the fishing lodge to establish a base of operations for their project,
Okay.
which this became known as the Great Excavation in Diggs County.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And as y'all mentioned already, the dig that they started was the Boneyard, is what we know as the Boneyard. That was their original dig, and that's where they found it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Chester and Hester still owned their gas station and general store. And they were probably thinking, hey, no problem, baby, we got this. We may see a reduction in fishermen to these parts, but maybe we'll see an influx of new customers with all these science folk coming in. Either way, they're driving.
That doesn't sound at
And they need
all
fuel.
like the Chester
I know.
I heard on.
It's different. I can't do it justice.
Well, shucks, baby.
That's the Chester.
That's jam in my jelly roll.
That's a Chester I want.
Yes.
But anyway, Chester was cool because he's like, they're driving and they still need fuel. And they need road snacks or whatever. And they need a place to stay. So
People
they're good
got to
with it.
eat. Yeah, they're
people
still
got to
making
eat.
money head over
Yeah,
fist
he's
here.
got fuel. So he's got to fuel the cars.
He's got it.
Anyway, back to the paleontologists. They got to digging and they seemed to strike gold almost immediately. And they began to unearth a full set of bones for a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Ooh,
King of the
okay.
Beast. And quick sidebar, the original find is still packed within the sediment, which is still displayed in the boneyard. So that T-Rex that they found was still there.
At the dig site.
The dig
It's
site.
on the right-hand side as you're walking in from Discovery Island.
Wow, it's an amazing memory.
That is freaking awesome.
Very
Yeah,
much.
that's great.
Yeah.
Rachel. Shoot, it's been a big
It's been
4
a
to 5 years since Lily went into the boneyard. Now she's a little bit too old for it, but yeah.
Yeah, it has two sides. So on the left-hand side where the actual entrance is, that's where they have like all the slides and like the play area and the like little caves they can explore. But then if you take the bridge over the walkway, but you have to like go into that part to get to the bridge. Over on the right-hand side of the walkway is the dig site.
Yeah.
And that is what Kevin's talking about. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I love that place.
I sat there for hours.
It's a great place. Yeah. So that was the original find. So if you went to visit that, then that you visit a piece of history, quote unquote.
I did. I
Anyway.
have pictures from there too.
Yeah. All right. So back to the story. So the T-Rex find made Chester and Hester very happy as it confirmed their intuition that these dinosaur scientists would bring more business to their little gas station. And boy, it did. It sure did. The popularity of this find was of great interest to the paleontological community, so much more so that more scientists and students flocked to this parts of Diggs County.
Dang.
The growth and accumulation of all these paleontological brains prompted Dr. Dunn to establish the Dino Institute within the walls of the fishing lodge. Okay. The Dino Institute's mission would be exploration, excavation, and exaltation as shown on their logo, which you might have seen. If you look it up, you'll see that there.
Wait, it was what is that again?
Exploration,
Exploration,
excavation, and exaltation.
Exaltation.
Yes, that's right.
But no exclamation for the guy who still has no name. That
No
found all this
name.
Stuff.
That's excrement.
Yeah.
Buried in the boneyard.
He's gone. Yes.
So anyway, at the Dino Institute, Dr. Dunn invited and awarded internships to students to come and obtain a hands-on education in the constantly evolving world of dinosaur research.
All right. He's blowing it up at this point.
Yeah, he's blowing it up. And,
Yeah.
You know, as the site grew, so did the discoveries. Numerous fossils were unearthed and moved to the fishing lodge, or the Dino Institute now it is, where they were displayed for students to study in their free time. So sidebar real quick, the fishing lodge or the OG Dino Institute is what we knew as Restaurantosaurus today. And this is why you saw a bunch of fossils displayed on the restaurant's walls and stuff. So that's why they were there. It was originally so the students could come in in the evenings and just kind of study, see what they found, whatnot. And so now it was displayed for the people to eat. But I'll get to the part why it's a restaurant in a little bit later.
Because they moved?
They did.
Yes.
They did.
Well, I solved that mystery.
So back to the story. As you can imagine, the digs were never cheap to finance. So the Dino Institute needed a way to subsidize the costs.
Wait, the digs you're talking about? The
Oh,
digs
the
or
actual
you're talking about
digs.
Chester and Hester digs?
Oh, not Chester and Hester. The actual digging.
No,
the
yeah,
digging
digs.
of the fossils. Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah,
it was
'cause
very expensive.
They got everybody, the students involved on this.
Well, here's the thing. Chester and Hester digs made money, whereas these digs cost money.
Cost money.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
so this wasn't on their land necessarily. This was like away from where they had set up everything, right?
Who, Chester and Hester?
Yeah.
No, Chester and Hester's created their gas station right near. I think it's right. If you think about where the park is, the restaurant was there, and just right across the way was Chester and Hester's
Oh, I was
little
gonna
gas
say,
station
'cause-
restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's maybe right across the street.
Dang,
so to
because they were
speak.
like, if they had just opened it over across the street, then they'd have been millionaires.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, they're doing good. I mean, I think they were doing good.
They was
Yeah.
blowing up. If everybody's coming down there, they need gas. They need,
Right.
isn't that like kind of, that's rough, right? They're looking for fossil fuels, but they still need gas. Like,
Yeah, these,
that's kinda-
powered by dinosaurs,
tough,
as they
yeah.
say, the promotion.
Look
goes.
at their
Yeah.
bones, enjoy their fuel.
Exactly.
Yes.
Man, that's blowing the game up right
Win-win. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
there. Okay, sir.
So anyway, all right. So the actual digging costed money. So Dr. Dunn needed to subsidize costs. And in order to do this, he opened the doors of the Dino Institute, including their cafeteria, for the public for a special fee. And the lodge would serve as a makeshift museum, a visitor center, and of course the restaurant, Restaurantosaurus, which I was talking about. They even built a parking lot across for Highway 498 from the lodge to accommodate the increase in non-scientific visitors, so to speak. That's that little parking lot that you saw Dinoland U.S.A. built on.
Okay.
So Chester and Hester took that over.
Yeah, at some point, they did. Absolutely.
Now they getting it, right?
Yeah.
Because everything's forming around them. That's not fair to them. They need to expand too.
But they're still making money hands over fist. I'll tell you how they're doing that in just a little bit. But the word of the Dino Institute quickly spread, of course, and visitors from all over were stopping by to see what the hubbub was about.
Okay.
Visitors could see fossils on display in the lodge, as I mentioned, visit the boneyard like we've talked about, and even insist on some of the discoveries. So if you remember, you could go in there and kind of dig up stuff and find fossils and whatnot. But yeah, needless to say, this is a lovely hidden gem for Diggs County on Highway 498. This increase in volume of teachers, students, and curious interstate travelers overwhelmed the Dino Institute's existing structure and prompted Dr. Dunn to expand the lodge. So before they moved, they expanded the lodge. which is why Restaurant Source kind of looked like the way it does.
Hmm.
And this expansion would facilitate institute housing, maintenance needs, along with promoting camaraderie and collegiality among the numerous graduate students who studied at the Dino Institute. And if you remember, there was a Quonset hut that was added as a maintenance bay for Institute's vehicles. So that's why there's a Quonset hut attached to the Restaurant Source complex. There was also extra tents for storage. So you saw like a tent-like structure and for storage of bones as well as cleaning them as you found them. There's also a room added that could be converted into a bone plastering area if needed. So if you went to that room and ate at Restaurant Source, you probably saw those artifacts in there. Plus, the entire lodge is essentially a dormitory for grad students. And quick sidebar, if you go into Restaurant Source, you could literally see the sleeping quarters of the students up on the second floor. You can see like the beds and the rooms and makeshifts and all kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of neat. Yeah. And another quick, interesting, did you know, but you can figure out the timeline of the expansion if you were to take note of the telephone styles in each of the rooms that were added. There were several located throughout the lodge, and they became more modern as you walk through. So you had everything from like a dial kind of thing to, and they got smaller and smaller to like a push button number kind of thing. So it's kind of neat little detail if you went through it. But anyway, back to the story. College students being college students, whether undergraduate or graduate, love to have fun, right?
And so do girls.
And so do girls, yes.
Absolutely.
And there's plenty of evidence to be found that the grad students of the Dino Institute had a lot of fun. And this is most evident in the hip joint, an additional segment to the lodge. So it's like a little place where they hung out.
The hip joint.
The hip joint, that's right.
So it's like
clever.
a little bar kind of?
Yeah.
Well, it was a diner type room, with a jukebox. This is where the grad students would hang out. It had a jukebox that did play dinosaur related music. So if you remember seeing that jukebox, you had like Walk the Dinosaur and all kind of stuff.
Okay.
Digging in Digging in Dinoland, all that kind of stuff.
So this was like Dino Girls Gone Wild.
That's right, exactly. Back in the day, yes.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Understood. Yes, sir.
But they also had several makeshift awards on display that the grad students would award each other. So just to give you an example, and we'll go into more detail later, but the awards were made out of scraps of wood that they found and any found objects at their disposal. So you got an award called the Golden Boot. It was a gold painted boot affixed to a wood board with your name on it. And that's if you did the most walking while you were doing your work.
Oh, I thought it was like who needs to get out of this the quickest.
No, I know. It sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it. But no.
Okay.
If you walked a lot, you got the Golden Boot.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So that was like the top honor.
I guess it was. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Or I don't know. Maybe it's like the lowest honor. Maybe you just can't find anything. You're just constantly walking.
I don't know if I would want that one, but maybe it depends on what the other awards are.
Well, here's another award that you might see, and
right.
this is called the Zip Award. It's basically a zipper from an artifact bag or something affixed to a word board with your name on it. That's what it looked like. It was literally a zipper on a board.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah.
If you were digging and found nothing the entire time you were there during your experience, you got the Zip Award.
You got a pan
Zip.
somebody.
You found
pan?
Zip.
You found Zip.
You found Zip.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I'd rather the boot.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Yeah,
the boot.
sure. Makes sense.
Anyway, sidebar, look, these awards were still on display at Restaurantosaurus, and the detail was so much that you had different size boots, different size planks of wood that they affixed it to, different size zippers.
Okay.
Depending on where they pulled or jacked the zipper. I don't know where they jacked the zipper.
So they never really made money off of this site that they're gluing boots to wood and
Then they won the Zip Award.
Yeah.
They found Zip. That's right.
That's rough.
Yeah, it is rough.
Okay.
All right, back to the story. In addition to the award, students upon completion at their time of the institute will find and personalize a rock with a special and often humorous message to leave behind at the lodge for future students to see. All right, so that was just, there's a bunch of little rocks with little messages that you'll see in and around Restaurantosaurus. So that's why they were there.
Left by the students, or made by the students.
Made by the students to leave for future students to find.
Oh, okay.
Do we
That's
have
cool.
some sample messages?
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't.
Look
I
here
will
next
have it-
time.
Yeah, I'll have it. I'll have it on the actual real history to kind of go into all the.
Can you dig it?
Yeah, sucker.
I think that's actually one of them.
Oh, get out of
I
here.
think it's like corny little ironic things like that.
It's got to be. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
Anyway, along with all of those respectable-ish things, the grad students also left a bit of vandalism, and shall we say, all over the campus.
Uh-oh.
Much to the chagrin of Dr. Dunn, which a lot of could be seen in present day. The grad students would add Osaurus to everything. So you've probably seen that walking through the area. So Restaurantosaurus, right? There was an international brand camper rebranded International Osaurus. The vehicle maintenance Quonset hut was renamed Vehicle Maintenance Osaurus. There's an exit sign that said Exit Osaurus.
So this graffiti vandalism was not really Banksy.
No, it wasn't anything crucial that you call the cops. But a fun detail is like on the water tower that they had the word eat. So I guess a grad student climbed up there and added Osaurus because it says eat Osaurus. And even funny enough is like grad students would shoot arrows made out of bathroom plungers. And there was 2 of them that were stuck to the water tower. If you look up there. Yeah. And they were still there up until it's closing. And I'm guessing it was the 2 grad students who would sit on the roof. And that if you look on one of the roofs of Restaurantosaurus, there's like 2 lawn chairs and I don't know, it looks like an ice chest or whatever. And I can't imagine, but they must have been up there just kind of shooting the bow and arrow, and they got 2 stuck.
Damn, what they used to say bow and arrow Rambo used to like hit a water tower with plungers?
You get very creative.
That's very strong.
I was going to say, these paleontologists, you think they're smart. It's like the crew from Animal House or something.
I mean, these are college kids, so yeah, I guess I mean, maybe they're basing it on their own college program kids.
No, they probably like, man, I was gonna go out here and be famous, and this is what I got. I got a zipper award and a wooden boot.
And a boot.
So I'm just shooting this plunger at anything.
All right, so back to the story.
Yes.
Okay.
Also evolving during this time was the Dino Institute itself. The boneyard got bigger and bigger, and they needed more space to house their findings and display them for guests. So they erected a tent in the portion of the parking lot across the way and essentially built out more of the museum display. So they had some of the museum pieces in Restaurantosaurus, but then they built this big tent just to accommodate more of their museum pieces. And just quick sidebar, this tent was known as Dinosaur Jubilee when the park first opened. So that tent that people walk in and would see all these dinosaur artifacts, that's the tent that they built out because they ran out of room to house all their stuff in the original lodge. Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, this is like a Frankenstein's monster of a fishing lodge at this point in time.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
a
much.
Fishing lodge. It's an institute. It's a dormitory.
Yeah.
It's a restaurant.
Gas
it's
station.
a museum.
Party area.
Yeah.
Archery practice
And
area.
there's toilet plungers. Like, what the hell?
And it's funny because when you look at the structure itself, it kind of looked like that, like just like a chaos of like whatever structure is glued together, which is kind of neat.
Very Muppet.
Very.
That's a good way to put it.
Muppet dinosaurs. That
They needed
cool.
Indiana Jones on this dig. That's what I'm beginning to think.
He was busy fighting the Nazis.
That's fair.
Yeah, he was doing all that.
Should have fought dinosaurs.
He will.
He
I'm
will,
sure.
yeah.
In the
He'll
new
time
ride,
travel, yeah.
He will
Exactly.
time travel and find a dinosaur.
All right, so back to the story. At the same time, Dr. Dunn began planning and constructing a new home for the Dino Institute. This is what Danny was talking about.
Okay.
And he built it a little further down the way, far from the college hijinks that were going on over at the fishing lodge, right? The new Dino Institute opened and was dedicated on April 22nd, 1978. It was clean, spacious, had a special tone of diligence, decorum, and dignity, which was something Dr. Dunn had trouble controlling in the original space.
The 3Ds.
The 3Ds, that's right.
Decorum, dignity, and what was it?
Max.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The union sent me. So anyway, the new institute had a lot of classrooms, research laboratories, and became more of the official museum for tourists. So now that the institute had this new building, as well as a tent down by the old lodge, so they had 2 places where they were displaying things, which is why on opening day you still saw the tent, and you still saw Dino Institute. Interesting enough, so it kind of overlaps with reality.
Okay.
As with most things in academia, the Dino Institute continued to struggle financially. Funny enough,
Yeah.
they're just not good with money.
No.
Yep. Even though the dig sites research continued to grow, the institute lacked sustainable profit.
Maybe they
And
should have turned to Chester and Hester. They seem to figure out a way to profit off all of it.
They're doing great.
Yeah.
Well, they had the only gas station in the area.
You
so
got to
they're
tell
rocking.
people something dead is out there and to go find it. And then you'll take care of their gas. And
Adventures
the
out
food.
there.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that's
Adventures
tough.
out
Yeah.
There's no money back on if you don't find a dinosaur. Like, you got to find a live dinosaur if you want some money. Yeah.
A live dinosaur.
I think it was director Dunn.
I think
you
he's
know
a little
what?
shady.
That's funny that
personally.
you say that. But
Okay.
let's talk about this real quick. So, like I said, the institute lacks sustainable profit.
Yes.
The board of trustees knew this, and if they didn't do anything and make a change, it could result in the institute's closure and stifle, ongoing discoveries at the dig site, right?
Uh-huh.
So the board enlisted the help of Dr. Helen Marsh.
Oh, Mrs. Huxtable.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
She was a financial consultant and academic professional and no stranger to controversy.
Oh, I know, man.
She was appointed as the new director of the Dino Institute. So, like Danny suggested, Dr. Dunn out, Dr. Marsh in.
Wow.
Okay, I feel a little safer now.
Over and done.
Over and done.
Yeah.
Over and done.
You done been done.
Dunn hadn't been making money, so we're going to try something new.
Over and out.
Income.
Over and out.
And you know, Mrs. Huxtable going to handle some business.
Yes, she is.
Yeah,
Yes.
she has to. She
Yes.
has no nonsense.
I didn't realize her first name was Helen.
Yep. Dr. Helen Marsh.
Okay.
How
Helen
about that?
Marsh.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, quick side note is before her hire with the Dino Institute in 1997, this is when this took place, Dr. Marsh authored a book titled Finding the Bucks in the Bone.
The Bucks in the Bones.
Finding the Bucks in the Bones. How about that?
The Bucks,
like Bucks like money?
Bucks like money.
Doesn't seem like Felicia Rashad.
No, that sounds more like a Bod Rashad.
That sounds like Chester and Hester again.
Yeah,
Sounds like a marketing play.
yeah. Bucks in the bone, huh?
So anyway, look, back to the story.
Yes.
In the future spirit of Bob Iger wasn't around yet, Dr. Marsh's first move was an acquisition.
Oh, okay. IP.
The IP, that's right. She was going to buy some stuff to make some money.
Okay. Can I guess?
Sure.
Time travel technology.
You're correct.
They're really good. It's a really good informed guess.
Yes.
Yes, it was an educated wish.
It
Yes.
is, yeah.
Very nice, sir.
You see, look, there was this company in Arizona called Chronotech, whose mission statement was to utilize the technology of the future to aid in the study of the past.
Oh, those motherfuckers that created the Terminator.
That's right.
No, that was
Cybernet.
Cybernet.
Cybernet,
My bad.
Yeah.
Close. It's a C word.
But
so
you
who
know
knows?
what though? AI smart. They had multiple subsidiaries.
Mhm.
You know.
Damn, Miles Bennett Dyson.
Yeah, man.
Well, anyway, Chronotech was on the brink of a huge breakthrough when they lost their government grant.
Oh, man.
So, of course, seeing the opportunity, Dr. Marsh and the Institute were the first to swoop in like Peter Pan and make an offer to Chronotech.
Ooh-wee.
Yep. So they agreed to a deal, and in 1998, Chronotech became part of the Dino Institute.
All
Oh,
right.
no,
And just as Danny said, the breakthrough was called the CTX Time Rover, which was unveiled shortly after the acquisition.
Well, we know how beautiful that is, but I mean, they should have had like a practice run first, like test the stock market in the past and compare to what it would have been in the future.
Well, you
And
know, Mrs. Huxtable was very confident.
that way they could have had the money,
Yeah.
and then just kept going forward. Because I support Miss Huxtable.
So, in their purchase of the Time Rover, is that when Dr. Seeker came over to work?
Yes. So part
Look at
he was
this.
part of Chronotech, so he came over in
In the merger.
the merger.
Did
Yes,
your
exactly.
future self tell your present self that?
Well, it just logically follows the story of the whole
I-
place. Yeah.
Exercising
Putting it
my
in.
brain. Look,
Yep.
it's 1:30. It's starting to work now.
Oh boy, I'll catch up with you an hour from now.
Well, as Danny was saying, the great scientific breakthrough is now students and professors alike could travel back in time, collect samples, study the dinosaur world, figure out like unanswered questions. That
Very
existed.
nice.
Yes.
Very nice. They would get better awards too.
Yes, exactly. But it's suffice to say, scientists outside of the Institute and scholars were very baffled by how this technology worked, but they were never privy to the information because that technology remained proprietary
Yes.
to the Dino Institute.
Cyber that knowledge is proprietary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So they know nobody knows. Nobody knows, but it just worked.
Yeah, except for Skynet.
Yeah. So look, all of the scientific breakthrough and wonderfulness, all helped to advance the field. But if you remember, Dr. Marsh's primary charge was to financially stabilize the Dino Institute and turn a profit. So she used the CTX Time Rovers to create a tour for the visitors that would take them to a safe period of time of the dinosaurs and charge a ticket for their experience. The tours were dramatically called Countdown to Extinction. Dr.
Yeah.
Marsh found that to be a good name to attract people, despite the fact that it only took guests to the early Cretaceous period.
I was going to say, it sounds
Far from, yeah.
very ominous.
Yes, it
doesn't
does.
sound
Yes,
like
it
a
does. Sounds like
pleasure
a great
cruise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great Marvel title.
I think she was trying to look for a hook, but
Yeah.
As she explains in the pre-show, the tours are going to the early Cretaceous period,
Okay.
far from anything that would happen.
Would lead to extinction.
Kevin
Exactly.
Feige could learn a lot from her. That would have been a great new
Feige,
Avengers
yeah.
title. Yeah. Countdown to Extinction.
Extinction.
Yeah.
They should. Maybe they can bring that back. I
I'm
don't know.
just saying, it's a good title. Good on her.
So, all this is going on, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Chester and Hester was loving the influx of visitors to their area, but were a little concerned that the Dino Institute had opened up their facilities to guests, which cut into their general store business.
Oh, I'll blame them there. Yeah.
So
yeah.
they evolved too, though. It's okay. They evolved too. So due to the dino craze that was happening, Chester and Hester started populating their general store with dinosaur-themed souvenirs, which is what you saw today. And as more and more dino souvenirs came, less and less general store merchandise could be found. But when you go into the store, you could still find like drinks, bag snacks, dino-themed snacks. So a little bit, not as much as what they used to carry, right?
Sure.
So they continued transforming their gas station into a dinosaur-covered novelty shop and rebranded it Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures on April 22nd, 1998. Oddly enough, that's when it opened.
Okay.
And they said it was a place erupting with gifts as their overly ornate, bedazzled sign advertised.
Oh.
It had a little volcano. Isn't that cute? We're erupting with gifts.
It's cute.
Yeah, adorable. Beautiful.
Beautiful confetti.
Yep. Although their plan to cash in on the Institute's popularity is no secret, Chester and Hester was also caught up in the dino craze themselves, as you can spend a good amount of time finding new things crammed into their space. They had like dinosaur-themed movie posters, recycled junk, Hester's dinosaur rock band, which was literally a bunch of rocks playing instruments. And they even had two Godzillas battling over a Coke machine. So they were into it too. They bought into it as well.
Now at this point, they're not even selling gas anymore, right?
I think they are, but that's not as crucial to their business anymore because they're capitalizing on the whole dinosaur craze.
Okay.
But if you need a gas, they had it. That's like the dinosaur business. It's like people need gas, so it's always going to be there. But this is going to put them over the top.
Gotcha.
The new dinosaur.
But they were the only
souvenirs.
game in town still.
Yes, they were still the only game. Oddly enough.
Yeah, that's everything else works for them except for everything that's across the street.
Right.
All the
Right.
actions across the street. So if these people start building across the street, our heroes have problems.
Exactly. Yeah. So look. All right. Meanwhile, back at the Institute, the time traveling tours proved to be so lucrative thanks to the dino craze happening in the late 90s that the Institute decided to close the tent known as Dinosaur Jubilee in the year 2000, which is why it only lasted for a couple of years and then it went away. And they moved all of their artifacts because they had this extra room in the new building to the new Institute. And they rebranded the tour from Countdown to Extinction to Dinosaur.
Aha.
Not as dramatic of a name, but hey, at this point, it was so popular that the word dinosaur was all that it needed, right?
Yeah,
we were talking
that's
about
fair.
Jurassic Park and all these things. Everybody was into the dinosaurs back in the day. So
Sometimes
slap it on there, we got business.
less is more sometimes.
Exactly. Well, you know what, Eli, to your point, seeing the opportunity in the empty parking lot, if you remember, Dinosaur Jubilee was in that empty parking lot. Chester and Hester started importing carnival games and rides and took over that lot to expand their own dinosaur-themed roadside attraction enterprise and created a fun, completely opposite and sometimes satirical atmosphere as compared to the serious academic atmosphere that was happening down at the Dino Institute. And in 2001, Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama was born, complete with the spinner ride, Triceratops spin, and the Midway games, like I said, will all charge an additional price. So they were making money on money on money.
Yeah, they were the fun part.
Yeah, they were the fun part, but they also charged for their Midway games, so they had made extra money on money.
They must have went to the time travel
Yeah.
thing.
Well, they
figured
were
that was-
inspired by Dr. Marsh for turning a profit.
Yeah, they should have went
They wanted to
back
do that.
in time and
Yep.
then figured something out for themselves. But I'm thinking Back to the Future.
Oh, but they're entrepreneurs, Eli, man. They used anything they could use to turn a profit. And like, for instance, they turned their camper into a dino diner. Like you can see it, it's there. They used old tires and linked
Well, not
together.
anymore.
Yeah, it's not anymore. Yeah, it's closed.
Dinosaurus.
Yeah, no, I think this is after the grad students, so they didn't get to it. The Osaurus yet.
Yes.
They even used old tires and linked together license plates to use as planners. You know, so they were using found things, so they wouldn't have to spend money on
So,
buying these things.
question here.
Yes,
and
very
I think
effective.
I already know the answer to this.
Yes.
But is the real reason, this is obviously all the fictional reasons,
Mhm.
but is the real reason that Chester and Hester sprung up like it did because they didn't build the damn excavator roller coaster?
Correct. Yes,
There we go.
that was one of the things. Yeah.
Okay, see that because
Well, that we'll cover. Yeah, we'll cover that in the actual real history of it. 'Cause
Okay.
there was that, and there was supposed to be like a slow ride too,
Mhm.
which they kind of combined ideas, and that's why we have dinosaurs.
I mean, you got to talk to the person that's talking with people that do time machine stuff. I mean, just for the
To
sake
fix
of your
that, yeah.
business. I mean, that's cost effective what they're doing with the tires, but
Yep. Yeah.
still time machine. Got to talk to people about that.
Well, anyway, back to the story, right?
Yes, sir.
So all of this must have been very lucrative for Chester and Hester because shortly after they opened Primeval Whirl, that little roller coaster that you heard in the clip, in 2002, which is their own time traveling response to the time traveling tours over at the Dino Institute.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was tight.
It was very tight.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd never been so close to Kevin.
Oh, you
For often, yeah.
You've
In
been
the
tight
sun.
as in lack of space, not tight as in that was cool.
Yeah, it was close.
Because, this
Yeah.
is a new world. Words don't
Well,
always
you know,
mean what they
our
mean.
skin cells were high fiving.
Yes, it was.
That's how
No,
close it was.
it was like, actually, if you're going to get stuck on a ride like that, Kevin's the right guy because he's got like this, like Winnie the Pooh-esque body.
He's very
Yes.
soft.
Like he's like natural shock absorber.
Yes.
And so as we were whipping around, I'd be plowing into Kevin.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we would whip the other way into those two French people. that
Yeah,
were
there
with
was
us
two
too.
and that was not so good.
They were not safe.
Well, they didn't speak English.
We didn't know what they were saying.
They were like,
These Americans, they're too big.
You are clashing, guys.
So we were trying not, but yes, we ended up getting stuck in that in the sun.
Yeah, that sucked.
Oh, it was a terrible ride.
Yeah, didn't like it.
Rachel, did you ever do the Primeval Whirl?
Yeah, a few times. My daughter really liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I rode it with her.
Probably because she was tiny and she wasn't.
But she probably fits better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
if folks are curious what it was like, if you've been out to California, it's very similar to Goofy's Sky School.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Yeah. So now we're at where the Dinoland USA was left off. Yeah,
Okay.
And it remained like that up until its closure in 2025. So yeah, look, that is the backstory of Dinoland USA. It was a story hidden in plain sight throughout all of the details liberally sprinkled throughout the land.
Okay.
And now documented for you in this podcast.
There were a lot of Easter eggs, and that was cool.
Mhm.
Here's my hot take, Kevin, after that really cool like history you just gave us with the background. I can't decide if I respect that they have that level of backstory for something like this. Like, that's so cool. But also I think to myself, like, why? Why? It's cool, but it's also like most people, I mean,
it's too much.
It's too much,
It's
right?
it's way too much.
It's like, I'm like, that's so cool that they spent that time. But you think about like from a business standpoint, like I know we've been giving Disney a hard time for not doing enough theming lately. And I do think they've swung too hard the other way, but this is intense.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Think about the amount of time that those people spent coming up with that story and then like pitching it to executives and then that's wild.
And I gotta think it evolved too as the land progressed.
Well, that's what ends
to
up
make it make sense.
It's
right?
kind of like sequelitis, where you get a movie and it's like, well, it's really successful. Let's make a sequel to it. And it's like, but we can't. The main character died. Well, we'll just bring him back, and you just figure out something, and then the sequel sucks because it doesn't make any sense or anything like that.
It's too overblown,
It's too overblown. It's too
Right.
convoluted.
Yeah.
That's what this became. Like, it was supposed to be simple. It wasn't supposed to, all this Chester and Hester nonsense. It was supposed to be simple. It was supposed to be a roller coaster that was built there with like parts from like the digging machines. That they were using. And when that got scrapped, then they opened up the Chester and Hester land. And so they had to come up with a backstory for that. So now you're building off of a backstory that already exists and trying to incorporate that into the larger overall. And then again, you end up with this Frankenstein monster and nothing is seamless. And that's probably why they're going the other way, because they're like, well, we're just going to change things anyway. We don't want to be locked into a story like that anymore.
But you can understand why executives are now like, you know what's easier? Let's just root everything in IP. Because then you don't have to come up with a backstory because we already did it. We already paid writers to do the movie. And so now we'll just root the rides into the IP and we don't have to like invent this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. This would have been, like you said, this was during the Eisner time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, he did was he was about incorporating everything, right? Like if you saw the guy, he was on TV and he was like, hey, here's the wonderful world of Disney. He made Touch Tone and so you had movies and stuff. So this guy was really good about integrating. But here's the irony about what you said, which thank you for that, because I didn't know any of that, right?
Yeah.
Why not take some of that stuff, bleed it over into other attractions? So in other words, like we were just joking, but Mr. Dunn took over for some guy no one knows. I would have been fun if he'd have been like in Haunted Mansion, like, hey, my real name is such and such, in other words, for everything else, it may have helped it to give it that history. Like in comics, there's always that thing of continuity, right? That might have helped it.
Well, I think, and that's the whole idea, is when now Disney parks have become something that's an ever-evolving thing, so you just can't latch down into anything this deep anymore.
Yeah, that's true, too. They tearing so much stuff out.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even like you can open something like the Haunted Mansion, the whole thing works, but you're still going to tinker with it. You're still going to add things, you're going to subtract things. So, I mean, it doesn't really even make sense to come up with a whole overwhelming story. And that sucks. It does suck that you're losing kind of the backstory of how these things came to be. But at the same time,
time moves on.
Things do have to evolve.
Yeah, we do have to jump in the chrono rover and then just move forward into the future.
I mean, even the resorts had backstories. I mean,
that
absolutely no longer exist anymore. But
I think in the resorts too, like there's more room I don't know. I really like the backstories for the resorts because
Yeah.
I feel like people can invest in that a little bit more while they're doing downtime, and relaxing
Mhm.
versus in the parks. I like the backstories there too, but it's just like, who had the time to learn all that before? Like, I'm too busy getting my fast passes and running to different attractions and all the other, like, in the resort, I have a minute to like sit down and appreciate the story. And in the parks, sometimes I think this level of detail is like unappreciated because people are so focused on other things.
Absolutely. But like even takes like something like the Grand Floridian, and we went through the backstory of that a while back, and Meisner's Lounge gone.
Yeah.
There was a gift shop gone.
There was a story
Citrico's changed. 1900 Park Fair's
Mhm.
changed. So I mean, there's so much about these resorts even that change over time that you can't even keep the backstory there. I mean, the backstory to Caribbean Beach has just about been lost.
Yeah, we've been looking for that for years. Yeah,
Port Orleans. I mean, you don't even have that one side anymore.
No.
What was it
Dixie
called?
Landings.
Dixie Landings.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Dixie Landing gone, and that's half the story.
And I believe they're also redoing the mansion area. Like they
Oh,
might
wow.
actually be completely redoing the buildings. I'm not sure, but they're kind of getting rid of that plantation vibe over there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just, you lose out to time and sensibilities. The story goes away, and in some instances, I guess it's appropriate, and some
And they're not going to take the time to create a new one.
Right, exactly. Because how do you keep adding on to this and not get something like you got here with Dinoland USA, where it becomes convoluted?
Right. Yeah. It's like a whole bunch of bits and pieces is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, for sure. But look, anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we did our part to preserve that story, because this is probably one of the last few stories that we have access to.
That we haven't told, yeah.
That we haven't told, yeah. It's
From
still there.
gas station to time travel and everything in between.
Everything in between, that's right. So look, when the rest of Dinoland USA closes, we'll do a full dive on the land's actual development with Michael Eisner Girodi, how we talk about the excavator ride and stuff. So we'll do an actual history of once that thing is finally said and done and has gone extinct. Has gone the way of the dinos.
I'm interested in, I don't know if you found this already or not, but when we do that, learning a little bit about how they fit the Nemo show in there. Cause I know like the idea is supposed to be that like fish are, evolved
Friends,
from
not food.
dinosaurs or friends. Yeah. But I always thought that was a tenuous connection.
Yes.
Like,
Oh no!
Nemo to dinosaurs.
Well, before that, it was Theater in the Wild, right? With the Jungle Book show as well as Tarzan Rocks.
Oh, that is before my time.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
It was an open air theater before they enclosed it for Nemo, but that was even though part of Dinoland, it was very just like you said, tenuous. It made no sense.
So, do we know when the Boneyard's going to be closing?
I haven't heard it. Rachel, have you heard anything?
Let me see if I can find a date. It is going to close when Dinosaur closes.
Oh, so it'd be early next year sometime is what I'm hearing.
Oh, okay. So what I'm seeing just after a quick Google is that the Boneyard does not currently have a closing date, and it could stay open for quite a while until like 26.
Oh, that's good.
Well, all they're really putting in the place of the Boneyard, unfortunately, is like what it looks to be a carousel. I mean, Encanto's going where Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama used to be. Indy is going where, what do you call it? Dinosaur used to be.
Yeah.
The restaurant's going to go where Restaurant used to be. So, I mean, putting a carousel in that location, that's not going to take them any time.
Yeah.
So we got a while with the Boneyard left.
Cool.
Listen, I will say one of my favorite things about Animal Kingdom is still letting my children loose in the Boneyard and getting a pretzel and 2 beers. And Josh and I would just sit by the exit to the Boneyard because you know that your kids are in there
Sure.
if you're sitting by the exit. And so we would just like kind of watch them, people watch, chat. They used to play
Pretzels und Bier.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a wait.
like they'd have REM playing End of the World.
Rachel should recreate that video. Pretzels and 2 beers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
we had good times there, and it's not closed yet, folks. So if you are planning a trip anytime soon and you have kids that are like grade school age or lower, That is a wonderful hour of your life.
Oh, it's a
it's a
spectacular
great place.
time. Yes, absolutely. Well worth the time spent.
Yeah.
I didn't sit outside. I sat inside with Lil as she dug up the fossils and whatnot, but
That's
that was
awesome.
a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have special memories with the dig site only because I have a friend of mine that did the college program and she was assigned there.
Yeah.
And so when we go visit, then she would sneak us in the back to the countdown extinction. So we bypassed the line. It was great.
Well, Kevin, I want to thank you for educating me on this. But when fantasy football comes around again, if you happen to pick up Stephon Diggs,
I know.
I want you to have some Chester and Hester related thing for your team.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll make sure you do that.
Yes, sir.
Chester and Hester Diggs. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. But I just wanted to do our part to preserve that because it's soon to be lost real quick.
Yeah,
for sure.
no,
It's
thank
gonna
you
be
for
gone.
that. That's a part of Disney history, and we should preserve it best way that we can.
Eli is preserving it. His they just redid his bathroom, bedroom, and everything like that, and he's renamed it the Boneyard.
Yeah.
Yes, the bedroom is the Boneyard.
Yeah. It's called
Can you dig it?
Bathosaurus. It's
Bathosaurus?
what I have going on there. Yes.
Subtitle: Can you dig it?
Yeah. Can you dig it? I'm digging in. That's what that leads to. Yes, sir.
Well, y'all, we hope you enjoyed hearing the backstory of Dinoland USA. And look, if you want to learn more about us, the Magic Our Way Podcast, make sure you follow us on any social media platform. Also, if you want to get in touch with us to share your opinions or your thoughts or your feelings on Dinoland USA, you can do so through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call us, send us a text message. As I did say, text us at 1-815 a weekend. That is 1-815
Mo Weekend
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple people do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli. Dig, sir.
Dig.
What you got going on?
Well, let me dig deep. When you got there on the internet, you can always find me, the Ivory Comics website. You can see all the work that I have there. 48 pages, fully colored. The only ad for them is for the Magic Our Way podcast. And that work includes Project Geisha, Savages, and the Molly Be Damned. Also on the Ivory Comics website, you'll see blogs and interviews and all these good posts. And of course, a link to the Magic Our Way podcast. So you never miss a beat, never miss an episode. You never miss where you should go when you do something. And if you're going to be digging up stuff, please put your name in there. That's what I learned from this episode, which there should be a link to, because God rest you, unknown archaeologists. That's all I'm saying right there. So yeah, Ivory Comics, where you find me there. Social media, Facebook.com, Eli H. Ivory is where you'll find me there. As long as you're a real person, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you're a bot, tired of greeting you. I don't know what's going on out there with satellites and everything else there, but bots just keep saying, hey, you know you need to save your life. And I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I want you taking my identity, man. I know cloning and deep fake is real, man. No,
We're not doing that today.
We ain't doing that today.
You know you want a bot friend.
I mean, the bots be trying to come at you, but the next thing you know, you see all that stuff with identity theft and all that stuff. I ain't trying to be part of that commercial. I'm just saying. You know they got something now? Like, no joke, they got something now where they said, nah, instead of stealing your identity, they can steal your house. The bots can do something, and then they can, like, take your personality and then, like, get whatever your documents are for your house and then, like, take that. So,
I
like,
picture a computer with, like, some luggage just walking in my house.
yeah, like, boop, boop, boop. This is our house now. Like, it's crazy.
I'm thinking like Despicable Me with a cookie robot come around and just start taking over your house.
I'm just saying, watch out. Watch your deeds. Hide your wives. Watch the bots. That's all I'm saying right there. Also on Facebook, there's a Project Geisha fan page. So yeah, check that out. Facebook.com/Project Geisha. On Instagram, right out there. See what you got posted up, the hearts and the likes. Love it all. You have your 504s where you can find me there. And of course, on X, I can find at Hancock 10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much. And I'm so sorry, unknown archaeologist.
I know. He needs a name.
He needs a name.
Or she needs a name. I don't know. It needs a name.
See? That's how rough that story was.
It is. You don't even know what it is.
There should be a ghost at least in Haunted Mansion.
Oh, Rachel, I was thinking about Trilobites, and they had the pretzel bites. You're talking about pretzels and beer. Those are good too.
Yeah. There was solid food in Dinoland.
Very much so, yeah.
Yes.
And look, guys, Rachel can help you book a vacation, right? And you want to get down there soon because in June, we got Muppet Vision 3D closing.
Yes.
We got Tough to Be Bug closing. We got apparently,
the Hell's Yeah is going to be Office Space.
That's right. Volcom stores are going away. So if you want to see the Boneyard, you want to visit the Boneyard, make sure you get that going. So Rachel can help you book a vacation to see all this before it goes the way of the dino Rachel, how did they do this?
Yes, I would say actually one of my number one qualities as a travel agent too is helping you find all the best snacks. So
She is
And
very
drinks.
good at
I'll
that.
I really
drinks.
do. Yeah, I really can lead you to the right spot. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. Like clients will text me sometimes and they'll be like, "We're hungry. Here's where we are. What should we do?" And I'm like, "I know exactly what you should do."
I wish
Pretzels und Bier.
I want her to do like a whole like small story regarding that just for the YouTube.
Can we
channel.
do that
Just
as a
take
show?
that
Yeah.
bite. I mean, just a bite of that. That's funny.
Rachel's best snack.
No pun intended. on
No,
that
like
segment.
that would be awesome. Like, okay, Rachel, it's about 4:15 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, but I've got a reservation for dinner coming up in 3 hours. I am in Hollywood Studios by Toy Story Land. I want something. Go.
Something sweet or not sweet.
I don't
Something
know
to
what
put-
I want.
Something to put us.
I don't want to
over.
get
Okay.
full for
Yes.
dinner.
But
All
I-
right, so here's
No,
my
something.
recommendation then. I think the best place you should go is Woody's Lunchbox. And if you want something not sweet, they have the tachos. And the tachos are great to share with two people. Those are really good. So tachos. But then my other recommendation, if you want something sweet, is the Lunchbox tarts. Those are so good. And you can get
Lunchbox
the
tarts.
2 different special flavors and share them and decide which one you like the best.
Oh my
There's always
gosh.
2.
Always
Perfect.
2.
Italy, China, France, Japan, Germany. Yummy, 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 yummy.
No, oh, good lord. No, that
You are having some fun with Stacy today, sir.
Well, I forgot I had the whole Stacy
Is this
soundboard
because
on
you
here.
won the Super Bowl league now? You're just rubbing this in our face?
Stacy in
A lot of
your
Stacy.
face.
But yeah, that's what I would recommend. Tachos or Lunchbox tarts.
I want
Nicely
touch.
done.
I love touch.
I liked how that was done though, just for the sake of the YouTube channel, because like we've been building up AI Rachel. So like, you know,
AI
that's-
Rachel.
That's good. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can take that segment and be like, boom.
Oh, so you're against bots, but you're going to turn Rachel into a bot.
Well, Rachel's a real person. It's a pleasure to meet you. You know, that's
Yes. But this whole thing was supposed to be me talking about being a travel
Yes,
agent. I kind
yes.
of lost that moment, but my fault. I got us off track. But I will help you plan your snacks if you book with me. The best way to do that is to reach me by email. My email is Rachel, RACHEL at magicourway.com. You can also reach me on social media. I'm at Our Family Magic on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Sorry, I like blanked there. All I could think of is Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter. So, and that's not even a thing anymore. So there's that. So you can also call me, which is really simple. My number is 978-432-WISH, WISH. You can text me there too. Those are great ways to reach me. And I would be so honored to help your group plan a trip to wherever you want to go. I specialize in Disney destinations, but I also help plan Universal on both coasts, both Hollywood and Orlando. Epic Universe is coming. And I
Yes.
feel like every week we get new little tidbits about what that's going to be like. So I'm excited to keep following that. And I also book cruises, Royal Caribbean, Virgin Voyages, Disney Cruise Line, Celebrity. Please feel free to reach out about those. I just got some people some great last minute deals on cruises. Last minute deals aren't really a thing in the parks business, but in cruises, they are. So
Oh, wow.
that's a good option.
I didn't know that.
And then, you can also book with me major hotel brands around the world. I'm headed to Manhattan with my family for a little trip coming up. It's drivable for us, but I'm part of why I'm doing it is to get some experience in planning big city trips. So anyway,
Wow.
I'm trying to, all kinds of things I can help with. And the best part about booking with me is that it is entirely free to you. There is no additional cost. And a little piece of what you book comes back to support this podcast and this fan community. And you get me as your travel advocate, your travel ally. And I'm so happy to do it. So please reach out and thank you so much.
Awesome. And look, in addition to all of that, you can go to patreon.com/Magic Our Way to elevate your support of our podcast. And another option that only costs a minute or so of your time is to leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right. Nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye!
There was also also room added that could be converted into a bow. Sorry. There was also room added that could be. I know. I went. Gas.
I was like, in case you want to go back on that one.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Airplane 2. Not a bomb.
A bomb.
Wow.
No, not a
All right, I'm going to do that sentence again.
God.